Hey y'all, so I wanted to share a testimony. I think the overarching lesson that I was supposed to learn is that when God has ordained or purpose or intended for you to do a certain thing at a certain time, there is nothing that can stop it outside of you. So if you choose to disobey, partially obey, or take your time in obeying, you are the only person that can stop whatever that thing is. So I have been studying for months, many months, like 4 or 5 months at this point, to take a test that I just took this past weekend. And I got to a point as I was taking practice tests that I began to feel insecure about it because I had a target score that I wanted to make. And based on the school that I want to go to for this particular program. And God told me a couple weeks ago, and I ended up sharing that sometimes we have a plan or a vision for our lives that isn't in alignment with God's vision or plan for our lives. And while God will allow that thing to happen, being a inside of God's permissible will or permissive will, it will not be God's perfect will for us. So after I had this epiphany and shared it with y'all, God reminded me that I had and shared this epiphany with y'all. Then I just made peace in my heart that I was going to go forward and go ahead and take my test because things are different. You know, I'm a single parent. I work full time. I have a part-time job. I have friends and I have a relationship. All of these things that I want to give my time to and nurture, as well as studying and trying to be my best self. And so when you add up all those things, it makes it very hard to study. And so I sacrificed. I told friends that I would have to catch up with them at some later time. I postponed and decided to not make plans because this was paramount, the most important thing to me. And so, being how funny God can be, there is a particular section on this test that I excelled at. I did exceptionally well. Every time I would only miss like two or three, sometimes at most four questions. When I had to do like the practice subsections, I would always get them all right, no matter the difficulty. But in all of the practice tests, the section that I struggled with the most, they had more of those sections on it. And so in my mind, I'm expecting and anticipating to have these two pretty difficult sections. Another so difficult section. It was kind of difficult just because of the time involved with it. And then the section I did the best at. When I got to my test on Saturday, all the things that could go wrong went wrong. Of course, it snowed Saturday morning, and fortunately, my son's grandparents came and picked him up for me. Then I'm waiting to get started with the test. At some point, I have been having my power flicker out, so I was just praying that I didn't lose power, so I didn't have to retake this test. In the middle of my test, the proctor couldn't see my camera, so they paused and stopped my test, and all I could do is freak out in fear that my test wouldn't be counted. But at this point, this is in the middle of that last section, and would you know it, just as God is so funny, that this final section of the test was another of the sections I did the best on. And so when I got done with the test, all I could think about was, man, this was definitely God's timing for me to do this. This was definitely his purpose and intention for me to do this. Because in all of the practice tests that I've taken, none of them have had two of this particular section. I share this to say that sometimes you will face every excuse, every lie, every whispered thought or utterance that would try to discourage you from what God has called you to do or purpose or intended you to do. And when I think about this, I know it was nothing but God, because I have peace regardless of how I did on the test, that I will end up where I'm supposed to be. I'll be able to get it done when I'm supposed to get it done. And that all of the things that could come as a deterrent or to cause me to try to give up on it, they could come. But if God allowed that to happen during my testing, what will he allow to happen, or what will he birth in me so that way I'm able to persevere? And I think when we think about a lot of things in life, there is no, to me, there is no one thing more important than fulfilling the purpose that you were put here to do. And it's for us to seek God to understand what that purpose is. I was very fortunate to learn more about one aspect of my purpose during a very difficult time, in particular through losing my dad. And then I came to be assured of it every time I faced obstacles in life. So I share this with you to say, look out for those signs from God, those assurances, those promises from God. They will pop up in the most unexpected ways. But I promise you, when you see them, you will know that it's God speaking to you, and it's God showing you, I'm with you. I have your back. You're going to get through this. This is your set time and season for this particular thing. And don't let anything come to tell you otherwise. So that's my encouragement and my word to you today. Be encouraged, persevere, press through. If you are operating in purpose, expect obstacles. But as the Bible tells us, that we will greatly overcome. We are overcomers. So you're a victor, and you don't have to allow this situation to deter you or cause you to doubt God and doubt the abilities and the gifts and the tools that He put inside of you to be able to be victorious in this area. So happy Monday. Have a great week. Bye.